Welcome to another session in Microsoft Access Databases with Mr. TJ Zenda here, and today we want to specifically look at different data types used in Microsoft Access Database. So, I want you to understand that data types dictate the exact kind of information a field can store, preventing errors and optimizing storage in our database. So I have listed different data types and what they are typically used for. Okay, so let's start with the first one, the short text, and then I'm going to show you when we are going to open our database very soon in terms of how you are going to differentiate between these different data types that we are going to look at. Okay, so the first one is the short text, which stores alphanumeric data such as letters, numbers, symbols, like your phone number, your first name, your surnames, your addresses, job title. These ones, they can be specified as the short text, and it holds up to 255 characters and is the default for most data fields. So every time when we assign a field name, it will be assigned to 255 characters. Okay, that is your short text. Let's go to the long text, which holds extensive alphanumeric data such as notes or length descriptions, comments, or explanations. It accommodates up to 1 GB of data, though screen display is limited to the first 64,000 characters. Okay, so where there is a need for making comments or explanations which exceeds more than 255 characters, you must therefore use the long text data type. Okay, for example, maybe you want to explain to the management why your department failed to meet the target which was set at a school environment. You want to explain to the exam committee, you want to explain to the parents, to the principal, giving more information about the learners at risk who failed to pass your exam. Okay, let's go to the number data type. So this is used for numerical data intended for mathematical equations or calculations. Options include sizes like integer, long integer, and double to specify memory and decimal precision. So these are any numbers which are used for mathematical calculations. Okay, date or time. So the date or time stores calendar dates and times. It functions to track deadlines or automate system timestamps. For example, using date or now functions. This is why you can actually apply your dates and times such as your birth date. Okay, let's go to currents. The currents, it is designed specifically for monetary values and financial calculations. It avoids rounding errors by providing 4 decimal places of precisions. That's your currents. The auto number, it generates a unique sequential or random integer automatically as new records are added. So the more you add new records, it assigns that unique number. It is the most common choice for table's primary key. So it automatically assigns a unique number each time when a record is created. Okay, that's the auto number. Now let's go to the yes or no. The yes or no represents Boolean data. It can be true or false, yes or no, on or off. It is primarily used for binary choices and is often displayed as a checkbox. Okay, that is your yes or no. We have the all object. Okay, the object linking embedded. So this one is actually, it involves graphics, photos, videos, or music files which are created by another program. Let's go to the hyperlink. The hyperlink stores clickable web URLs or email addresses, allowing direct navigation or action. Web addresses which are linked to a document or a web page can be assigned to a hyperlink field data type. Okay, Let's go to attachment. The attachment, it allows users to attach external files directly to a record, such as images or documents. You can attach multiple files here. You can attach more than one file to a field. Okay. We have the calculated field. The calculated field, it performs an expression that computes data from other fields within the same table. So it runs a calculation. Okay. Then the lookup wizard. The lookup wizard, it assists in creating a drop-down list of choices from another table or predefined list, streamlining data entry. That is the lookup wizard. And this brings us to the end of our data types that we have in our Microsoft Access. Okay, here is our database, and when I open my table here, let me close this table. I'm going to double click on my learners table. When I open this table, I'm going to land on my datasheet view. Remember, we said there are two types of views that we have. Is the datasheet view and the design view. We want to look at in design view. So here is our design view. Okay, so in our design view, so we said for each and every field name, we have the data type. So we were discussing about the data type in this session. So we want to look at them one by one and explain to, we have to explain why we selected this data type to this field name. Okay, so the first one, it talks about the ID, and if we can go back to our datasheet view, you can actually see that this ID, it's an auto number which uniquely identify each record, each row. So the first record is number 1, number 2, then the second record, number 3. This number, it is assigned by the auto number data type that we previously discussed about. So that's why we're saying in design view, the ID is provided this type of data type, which is called auto number, to uniquely identify each record in our table. So it was assigned auto number, and this is the way you can actually assign the data type for each and every field name. Okay, so we choose the auto number. We go to the first name. The first name, the data type is the short text. So we chose short text for the first name because obviously the characters of all the first names are limited or are less than 255 characters, the same as your surname. Are they attending? This one is a Boolean value which requires a yes or a no. That's why we have a check boxes in which learners tick if they are coming, or they just leave it blank if they are not coming. Okay, and let me jump to the last one, which requires the value of the gift in monetary terms. Okay, which is the currency. Okay, so this is how you are going to apply those different data types that we were discussing about. We all have these ones: the lookup wizard, the calculated field, the attachment. If you have got more than or multiple files that you want to attach to a field, you can then use the attachment. And this is the hyperlink. The hyperlink, if you want to add the web address to the document or the web page, you can use the hyperlink. The all object there, these are those files that we have been talking about, which are being created by another program, such as your videos, your photos, and other files that you can talk about. The yes or no, the auto number, the currents, date or time extended, date or time, large number, long text, short text. These are the different data types that we were discussing about. Okay, so you are going to work with them in design view. Okay, you are going to work with them in design view to make sure that each and every field name is assigned to a proper data type. Okay, each and every field name is assigned to a proper data type. Okay, so that we can detect the exact kind of information a field can store and prevent errors and optimizing storage as well. For example, in terms of the first name here, so remember for each and every field name we have the field property. So then we need to make some adjustment, because we are saying we cannot use all these characters which are assigned to the first name. So we can say all our first names are less than 15 characters, so we can make those adjustments depending on what we have in that field name. Okay, so for every field name we have field properties. Okay, so this is what we are going to make use of as time goes on, and we are going to continue in our database. And in our next video I'm going to explain to you in terms of how do we align our field properties to our data type. So we need to make sure that we align our data types to our field properties. I'm going to explain all these things that you are seeing here in terms of how do we use them, so that you understand their function, you understand their role in database as well. Okay.